I get off of work the other day, and here in Colorado it's like mid-90s, and because I'm at high altitude, Colorado in general, but me specifically, I'm closer to the sun, and so because we have desert climate, it's very dry, and so we have this drought going on, which is why we have all the fires. It's only temporary, but it's very, very hot. And so for myself, I have air conditioning in my car, but I choose not to use it because it makes me sick. And so instead, shade trees. And for myself, because it's such a dry climate, I have a spray bottle that I mist my dog with and myself. And so you get a little bit of wind, which we have, a spray bottle and a shade tree, and you're just fine. You don't have to have air conditioning. And in fact, it's much, much healthier, because if you're in air conditioning all the time, it makes you less tolerant to the natural elements. And so natural elements of water, spray bottle, natural elements of wind, and a shade tree. So I'm sitting out here, I do all the time, but I stop at a gas station and I get something cold for us to drink. Have some water, and I had been drinking water all day, so I wanted something with a little bit of, like some juice or something. And so I'm standing in line getting ready to pay for it. There's a guy in front of me, and he was having a conversation with the guy that's behind the counter, and so it's taken a little bit longer, and I have no complaints, because the thing is dysregulated nervous systems start with living your life in the fast lane, always being busy, always doing something, always being impatient, just want to get in and out, and just slow down, live your life, have a natural, healthy conversation with somebody, and it's okay. You have to wait 1 minute longer, it's really okay. And so he's having this conversation, and I'm just patiently waiting. But as I do that, he turns around and he looks at me and he says, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And so as an empath, we feel people's energy. And so before we even get to that point, I didn't really even say anything. I just shook my head no. And then I did say something. I said, "I'm not interested." And I was very kind about it, but he kind of looked back and he was like, "Okay, well, I wasn't just trying to hit on you." He says, "We can just be friends." And so I'm like, "Okay, well, I already wasn't interested because I could feel your energy, and we can feel when energy's off. We can feel when people," okay, in his case, immediately directly asked me if I have a boyfriend, didn't say, "Hey, this is who I am, have a conversation." There was no, he just jumped right to the point, which tells me it's a transactional relationship. And so I already was like, "I'm not interested." And then he tells me, "Well, I'm not just hitting on you." Well, asking me if I have a boyfriend, what is that then? Okay, so it's just, this is why I'm picking up on his energy, and I am not interested. I can just feel it before he even speaks. And so he says, "We can just be friends." Well, I'm like, we know how that goes. People just are going to be friends. Well, no, I'm not interested. And so he goes, "Well, do you smoke?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, do you drink?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Well, like, how would we be friends?" And then he stopped and he looked, and he was like he was starstruck. And it was like he opened his eyes, and his whole reality to what is relationships really about around you. And so he's like, "Oh, we could have like that kind of relationship." And he realized at that moment it was like a door opening to, like I said, a whole new reality, because he had no idea that to smoke. People don't have to drink to have relationships. And he was just like starstruck. And not just him, but you and many people. Stop and ask yourself, do you have emotional, intelligent relationships with the people around you without any interference or substance or anything that you have to have that creates that bond or that cord attachment to that person? Or can you take that away, whatever it is? Can you have a real relationship and conversation with them? What is reality and the relationships with the people around you? Can you have an intelligent, emotional, real relationship with no interference with somebody? Where do you stand?